Hi all, welcome to the potential marquee matchups for the 16th of June. Plenty to cover in terms of this. I've covered in leagues as well as games because some leagues might stand out and I'm not sure what they could particularly cover. But I hope you find this useful as always, and I will explain it all as the video progresses. So we can smash the like bell, some sub to the channel if you're new, follow me on Twitter at G is a legend. All the links are down below for playlists in the channel and social media links as always. So let's jump into the marquee matchups for this week. So LA Galaxy versus Houston Dynamo is kind of one of the standout games in the MLS. I'm not 100% sure what they particularly could go for. So what I've tried to do is go on the basis that they will pick a game from a league. So in this case I'm fancying the LA Galaxy because there is no derbies this week for what I've gathered. So I've tried to pick a kind of two standout teams that have won like the league quite often lately, and this is one of these standout games. You might not pick it obviously, but it's just, this is why it's a 5 out of 10 for likelihood, so be prepared. My personal recommendation is don't try and really buy anything. If you've got packs and you pack MLS players, just keep them. So what I've tried to do is say 2 players from the 2 teams featured, 11 from the league, 3 rares, 5 nations, 100 chem, 70 rating at least, 46k cost, 46k reward. Now Seoul versus Suwon Blue Wings is a big game. This is like this, there's 2 major games in Korea this week. Seoul versus Suwon and then Pohang Steelers versus Ulsan Hyundai. These are 2 major games in Korea. Seoul versus Suwon is the Super Derby, so I would kind of imagine this could easily feature, but obviously they might easily go with the other games, so be prepared at least with both games. And that's kind of why I'm trying to build each route that focuses on all the teams that could feature. So 2 from both teams, 11 from the league, 4 rares, at least 5 South Korean players, 70 overall rating. I wouldn't imagine to go much higher because it then gets really difficult. 46k cost, a 7 out of 10 for likelihood. I really do fancy this. And plenty rares and decent worthwhile players like Adriano for example. Tokyo versus Yokohama is one option they could go for. Same with MLS, there's no real standout games. Now I would fancy this game in a sense because it's like 2 major cities in Japan. But obviously a smart way is just to kind of cover yourself with most of the teams in the league. If you've at least got a couple players in each team from the league, you're kind of covered really, and you should be sorted. I would say 2 from the league, 2 from both teams, 11 from the league, 4 rares, 5 Japanese players, then a 70 overall rating is probably the very highest they're going to go to. They're not going to go too much higher. 46k cost, 3 out of 5 for reward, and a 5 out of 10 for likelihood. You could also look at the Kashima Antlers, Urawa Reds, Kawasaki Frontal. It's hard to say what they truly could do, and this is where it gets difficult for marquee matchups. Haugesund versus Rosenberg is not really a major game. It's like Rosenberg's like the biggest team in Norway, and Haugesund are recently not so long back up, and it's, if there are no real standout games, this is kind of one game that could potentially just be plucked out of fresh air, and this is what they might do. So 2 from Rosenberg and Haugesund. You can do 1 and 1 or whatever you prefer. 11 from the league, 4 rares, 5 Norway players, 70 overall rating, 46k cost, 3 out of 5 for reward, and a 5 out of 10 for likelihood. You could look at Aylesland, you could look at Lillestrøm, you could look at Strømsgodset, Viking, Odd, Brann. It's hard to truly see how they could put this all together. Bohemians versus St Patrick's, however, is a major game in Ireland. It's quite an established game in the league. You could also look at the Galway versus Sligo Rovers game as well. I think that's the other big game in the league that's potentially could be picked, but they might just look at any game within the league. But 2 from Bohemians and St Pat's, 11 from the leagues, half a dozen clubs at least, 3 nations, might even just have an emphasis on Republic of Ireland players. 60 overall rating, 34k cost, 34k reward would be like an all players pack, 5 out of 10 for likelihood. I know I should really have this a little bit higher if this is kind of like an actual standout game within the league, but it's hard to truly say who they could pick as a priority league and game in all honesty, but this is a major game in the league. Now with Colombia however, there is 2 Cali teams. It's like Deportivo Cali and Atletico de Cali or something. I can't 100% remember who won. And then you've got the other semi-final, which is Nacional versus Millonarios. Now I would assume one of the Cali teams and whoever wins the other semi-final will be kind of what they would put as the main requirement. Now they've not put a date for the final, so I don't know how the Colombian league works. So if anyone knows, let me know in the comments down below. But I would say you'd have 2 from the finalist teams, then you'd have 11 from the Liga de Mayor, 4 rares, 3 nations, 70 overall rating. It might even go a little bit higher, like say 72. Then 46k cost, 46k reward, and a 5 out of 10 for likelihood. It's probably got a good shout of happening if this is like the final of the league, and it's next week. So We'll see what happens with that league. Then Newell's Old Boys versus Lannis is kind of an odd shout. There is other games that they could go, like Racing, Boca. It's genuinely tough in terms of where they could go with the Argentinian league, but because there's so many golds within the league, and the team of the season for the Argentine league potentially could be this week, this has a strong shout for potentially happening. So I would imagine 2 from teams, so in this case Newell's and Lannis is an example, 11 from the league, 6 clubs, 3 nations, 70 overall rating, 46k cost, 46k reward, and a 5 out of 10 for likelihood. I would imagine it will be a little bit higher due to, obviously, if the Argentinian league comes up as a team of the season. Hope you find this useful, guys. Remember, it's not mostly the games I'm trying to focus on, it's the leagues as an emphasis. So hope you find this useful. As always, smash the like, sub to the channel if you're new, follow me on Twitter at GZLegend, let me know in the comments down below what you fancy for the marquee matchup. Take it easy all, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all later.